Let's see what this email is talking about today. I think the mailman here. Yo. We got here. All right, cool. We got the mail out the way. You saw what we received in the mail today. I got a new shock mount for my boom mic. My other one I have, I don't know how it happened, but it snapped on the side where you tighten it and loosen it up where the screw in the hinge is. And anyways, I end up having to spend money and buy a new one. On today's show, I figured I'm gonna start off with some real basic principles with the camera. And pretty much I feel like these are probably the three most important things that you need to know with a camera. But you must know about the shutter speed, your aperture, and your ISO, okay? You gotta know these three things at all times. I'm gonna start off with the definitions. I took some notes because I wanted to make sure that I'm totally correct on this stuff, and y'all know it. Aperture is the unit of measurement that defines... All right, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not gonna work. You could go read the definitions if you want to on your own. Google is your friend. Just Google it and you can figure out what it is. Today, I'm gonna try to do my best to help you guys understand how these three things operate. When you're thinking about shutter speed, you gotta think about a few things. Will you be stopping any motion in your photo? And how is it gonna adjust the lighting? If it's a car moving and you're saying, hey, Sean, I wanna stop this car from moving, immediately you should know that you need to have a very fast shutter speed because you wanna stop this motion from moving. So let me grab my camera. This is my camera, guys, 5D Mark III. I still got kind of like a throwback camera. I just like it. It's a workhorse and it doesn't fail me. So if you're thinking about slow shutter speed, this is what it'll sound like. Slow shutter speed. Now let's speed it up. Let's go to like 1/400. Let's listen. You hear the difference, guys? I know I'm gonna be stopping motion. I know it's not gonna be a blur in the photo, unless your hands are shaking. But other than that, very fast picture. Let's talk about lighting really quick. This slow shutter, that slow shutter is gonna let a whole lot of light in. It's gonna brighten up. Those faster ones, really fast. So that means your photo now is gonna be what? Darker. So just remember that. Slow shutter, it's gonna be a brighter picture. Fast shutter, it's gonna be a darker picture. So if you got darker pictures and you feel like everything's correct, look at your shutter speed. It might be too fast. So next, let's move over to our aperture. Aperture, you also gotta think about lighting. And then when I think about aperture, I also think about how many objects in the photo will be in focus. And then I also think about, do I want bokeh in this photo? AKA that blur. The blur that everyone loves. You see these photos and it just pops off. The person is in it, but everything is blurred around it. A lot of times people aren't doing that stuff in post. They just understand how to use their camera. So with aperture, if you're talking to a photography person, they're gonna say the lens is wide open at its lowest aperture, which is totally true. I know sometimes people hear, oh, it needs to be wide open, and you're thinking like, oh, it's wide open, so it's gonna be a lot in focus, and everyone in the picture is gonna be focused. No, that's not what's gonna happen with that. The way Sean remembers it, this is not in a book or anything anywhere, but once I did some research, this what helped me remember it. A low aperture number, like a 2.8, a f4, that means a smaller amount of things in that photo will be in focus. Whatever you put that point on, and you want it to focus on, those are the things that'll be in focus. So when I wanted to have that nice bokeh or blur, I put it at a 2.8 or f4. But if I'm taking a photo with a group of people, I wouldn't dare shoot it at 2.8. I probably wouldn't shoot it at f4. I might not even shoot it at 5.6. I might immediately jump to like 6.3 just to make sure that I could get everybody in focus. It's a big group of people. They might be on different planes. Some are closer to me, some are further away. So I need to dial that aperture down to make sure I'm getting more stuff in my photo in focus. If we go to that 6.3 or go to that 10, I'll go to that 22, it's letting less light in. Now the photo is gonna be what? Darker. I hope all this stuff making sense. Fast shutter, darker photo. Slower shutter, brighter photo. Lower aperture, brighter photo. Higher aperture, darker photo. We're putting this equation together now. So now you gotta remember and figure out how to adjust stuff. So let's say we set our aperture and our shutter speed, but the picture is still a little bit dark. So that's when that third item comes into play, your ISO. You might go from 100 and jump it all the way up to, I don't know, 500, 600. It'll make up for that extra light that you need. Like I said, I didn't read this anywhere. It's just how I started to remember stuff. Now let's look at some photos really quick to try to make it make even more sense, all right? So here you go right here. It's a clock that I took out of the house, and I went outside, set it on the AC unit and said, hey, I'm gonna just take pictures and then I'm gonna make adjustments and let you guys see how it's changing. And the first we're gonna start with is the shutter speed. So here we go. 1/200 is this photo, aperture is at f4, and the ISO is at 100. Now look at 250, then 320. Now look at 400. As you can see, the photo is getting darker, guys. Okay, so let's reset our picture, and this time we're gonna adjust just the aperture. 4.5, f5, 5.6, 6.3. So as you can see, the photo is getting darker. You're starting to be able to make out stuff in the background, but it's also making your photo darker. So now you just gotta remember what other things you can adjust. So let's go back and reset the picture one more time. 1/200 is the shutter, aperture is at f4, ISO is at 100. And this time we're gonna adjust our ISO. 125, 160, 200, 250. Is really making the picture like blowed out, overexposed. But now you can see that with adjusting just those things by themselves, you're making changes to your photo. So guys, I'm hoping this quick lesson like really helped y'all on your side. If you're one of those people out there shooting in auto mode, don't feel bad about it. When I first picked up the camera, I didn't even know it had different modes. I was always in automatic, and then I finally started doing other things, and I ventured out and tried to shoot in the manual mode. And I think you guys out there should try to start doing it as well. Why? Because it's just endless possibilities out there when you're manually controlling your camera. You can tell the camera what you want it to do. You can make the photo look how you want it to look. Like I said, I hope this is helping. And if you have any questions or you got some comments or whatever, you know the comments are wide open. And I'll also make sure I put a link in the description at the bottom for these photos, just in case one of you guys want to hold on to them and look at them on your side, just as reference, all right? Okay guys, before I get up out of here, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you check out my website, and make sure you follow me on Instagram too, and don't be afraid to speak, all right? Y'all stay busy, and as always, good luck. I'm gone. So what you think? Did we help somebody today? You gotta talk. Why you so quiet? I mean, click if you hear me. Oh, man, you had me tripping. I'm thinking you ignoring me. So do you think we helped them? Give me a click. 1 click for yes, 2 clicks for no. All right, cool. You think all of them understand what I was saying? Like, I mean, did I do okay today? Hey, we on track. You know what I'm saying? You think all of them gonna remember everything? Dang. Maybe you misunderstood my question. You think all of them gonna remember everything? That's not good. They need to study and Google. They gotta figure this thing out, man. All right, you ready to go shoot? All right, let's go shoot something.